Young. Here. Yoder. Here. Gerwin. Flott.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Fannin.
Here.
Kestner. Peterson.
On the agenda, the Certificate of Excellence for the Pontiac FFA, that's being removed. We're going to do that next month. With that change, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Campbell, second by Ritter. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion carries. Everybody take a look at the minutes. Motion by Young, second by Coleman. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion carries. Down to consent agenda. It's approval of the bills and appointment of Richard Myers. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Weber, second by Ritter. Roll call, please.
Fieri.
Yes.
Bullard.
Yes.
Schaefer. Arbogast. Yes. Weller. Ritter. Coleman.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Borngasser.
Yes.
Ingalls.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Weber. Rinks.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Allen. Mays. Young. Yoder.
Yes.
Gerwin.
Yes.
Flott.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner. Peterson.
Thank you. Down to consent agenda, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Holt, second by Coleman. Roll call, please.
Arbogast. Bunning. Gimbel.
Yes.
Carly. Weller. Runyon.
Yes.
Mays. Holt.
Yes.
Weber. Fieri.
Yes.
Heath.
Yes.
Yoder. Coleman. Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Ingalls. Young.
Yes.
Ritter. Gerwin. Flott.
Yes.
Allen. Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner. Peterson.
Okay, down to action agenda, committee reports. Highway Committee, Darrell Holt, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a couple items tonight, letting results. Also, Lena, you going to be able to put that? Thank you. I asked Clay to give us a couple pictures of a culvert. This was back when they looked at the culvert. You can see the crack in the center. It was sunk up above. There's quite a depression there, and then you can see the crack where it appears it's not really supporting anything. They took the water out, and you can look at the bottom, and there's even further damage down there. The second picture is a picture of it as it is today. You'll bring that up. After the heavy rainfall we had, there was quite a bit more deterioration.
So this picture
That's
is,
another view of the same time period. Yes, this is the one to the west of campus, couple miles, where we'd ask, this is as it is today. That section moved out considerably, and there's virtually no support there now, and you can see daylight coming through from above. So we appreciate you allowing us to borrow money from the landfill to take care of this, because as you can see, there's could have been a very serious problem if somebody went through it. Thanks, Clay, for providing these.
yeah, I guess in addition to what Darrell has said, I just wanted to go back a little bit on the Broughton structure. We had a closure last June in 2015. due to scour. It was a less than 20 structure, less than 20-foot structure, sorry. We were able to get that to qualify for our township bridge program. So that is the other project that was on this letting. So both structures that have failed and were closed. The one on County Highway 1 was closed in March. We're anticipating opening this structure this year with the letting here this last month, or in August. We should be able to accomplish at least getting it open to traffic. That's the goal. We may not get paved until next spring, depending on when the hot mix plants shut down. That's going to be what dictates that part of it, but the contract does require getting it back open. The only thing that would change that would be, a horrendous fall of wet weather to not allow that work to get done. Just wanted to I'd like to thank and commend the board for taking the action, providing the necessary funding and the latitude to fast track this project. So, as you can see, the $2 amounts for each one. That's what we're asking for award tonight. Yes.
Forgive me. This is a different structure than the one we closed in. The pictures you just showed us, that's a different structure?
That's the one that's located on County Highway 1, west of campus. There are two projects on the concurrent award. One is for Broadman Road District, and then this one is the one the pictures were of was on County Highway 1 on the campus roads. We didn't show pictures of the one for Broadman. We had showed those last year, and it really hadn't changed in its status. But
And it's closed also?
it is another closed structure.
And has been closed.
And what road is that on?
You take 2400 north across, and it's there's a cemetery on, it actually winds around. It becomes 2390 north, but it is considered 2400 north all the way across, the eastern portion of the route.
Thank you.
Yep.
My motion would be to approve the,
Yes. I'm sorry. Congratulations, got a question.
Clay, what,
I don't think you were recognized, so you're out of order.
you had the floor, Mr. Chairman. You are the one who was out of order. so you
I can't recognize.
welcome,
Clay,
Joe.
um,
We missed you.
On that County Highway 1, there's another bridge within 100 feet. Is that bridge sustained any damage? It's basically the same type of bridge. And then a couple hundred feet away on that same creek line for that bridge is the township bridge on 3100 East. Has all three of the bridges been looked at, or just this one that we see the pictures of?
I have looked at them, and the structure that is to the east, we may be looking at some substructure remediation on it. It is a different style of structure from the standpoint of reinforced concrete stack is an arched structure, and they're tied to the walls differently than what this one is. It was built in the 50s. We have several of those structures throughout the county, and they all, structurally speaking, are in very good condition.
And it's the bridge that is on County Highway 1 what you're talking about?
Yes, it is. And so that what needs to be looked at and considered is that there's scour of that west abutment fully. And while we have a contractor in the area, it would be good to look at that and see if there's anything we can do to minimize that scour that is happening. The structure to the south on Township Road, I have looked at it as well, and at one time it had some work done to it, and it's in really pretty good condition for the amount of water that it does take. So, and we recently had a pretty good flood up there to test both of those structures, but we will look into the structure for sure while we're doing work.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Metcalf, for recognizing me when you had the floor.
Mr. Chairman, my motion would be to approve the letting results.
Motion by Holt, second by Runyon. Questions? Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Kimball. Carly. Runyon.
Yes.
Mays. Holt.
Yes.
Weber. Vieti. Heath,
Yes.
Yoder. Coleman.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Ingalls. Young. Flott.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Kestner. Peterson.
Thank you, Clay.
That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Agricultural and Zoning Committee, Bill Flott, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have one resolution tonight, action item. It's the advisory referendum for WEX. You might recall last month we voted on what the question would say. The Illinois State Board of Elections suggested that we reword that. The committee met a couple of times, and we did change the wording of the actual question. I think you have the referendum on your desk, and it was in the packet. If you look on page 3, it's got the wording that's will be on the ballot. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Motion by Flott, second by Young. Discussion? Yes.
That the motion would be to rescind the previous referendum language considered last month and approve the proposed resolution with the modified language and authorize the chairman and secretary to sign the referendum on behalf of the county and to certify the resolution to Livingston County clerk subject to final attorney review.
What did you add? Did it just attorney review possible?
No,
The-
rescind the action that was taken last month.
Okay.
Because you've changed the language. All right. And then authorize the chairman and secretary of the board to sign and authorize certification of the resolution to the Livingston County clerk. She can then turn around and certify it to the state board of elections. So it can appear on the ballot on the parade,
So moved.
subject to final attorney review.
Motion amended with the additional language. Seconded by Young. Any other discussion? Mr. Runyon?
Yeah, let me just say what I said last month is I'm still not real thrilled with this language, but considering we're out of time and it's got to be done tonight, or if it's going to be done at all, I guess I'm going to go ahead and vote for this, but I'm still not happy about the language.
Mr. Yoder?
This is just my opinion, which isn't much. But this language is just going to be confusing for every voter.
Anyone else? Mr. Ritter? Use your microphone, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So my question is, we have not, as to my knowledge, received information back from the Attorney General's office pertaining to whether even this is a viable option. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm sorry?
What was the end of your sentence? I didn't really.
Viable option. So I'm trying to understand what happens in the recourse if it is not legal.
You might have to modify, well, yeah, this is advisory referendum, okay? And in the future, if you take action, you might have to modify the action you might have taken based on the referendum. If the Attorney General says, for example, you can't do what's proposed.
So if it's not, I'm just clarifying here, if it's not legal, then we would then have another vote to change the language on this.
No. It's an advisory referendum. You can act on it, you can not act on it as you choose. You don't have to do anything, or you can use it as a basis for making some changes in the future. Yeah.
I understand that the referendum is legal. I'm trying to understand what happens if we find out that there is an issue, what's our next step? I'm trying to understand that ahead of time, so I'm not sitting there scrambling at the end. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Paul, we don't know when or if the state's attorney will respond to it, and we're under the gun because in order for us to get it on the ballot in November, I think we got a deadline of August 26th. Yeah.
Just trying to understand ahead of time what the next step is going to be if that's an issue. That's simply my question.
Sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness
Thank
than
you
ask
for,
for permission.
thank you for your forgiveness, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
By the way, you have to pass it by August 22nd. It has to be, and Christie has to certify it by September 1st to state board.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Gimbel,
Yes.
Carly. Runyon,
Yes.
Mays. Holt,
Yes.
Weber. Beatty. Heath,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Dyson,
No.
Schaefer,
Yep.
Ingalls,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Ritter. Flott,
Yes.
Bannon,
Yes.
Kestner,
Yes.
Peterson. Eighteen ayes and 1 nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. A couple other items. The 911 ETSB board is working on an intergovernmental agreement that would make the ETSB system autonomous. LivCom, as we know it, would cease on December 1st, and the new Vermilion Valley, newvermilionvalley.com, or whatever they're gonna call it, would go live. That's just for your information. Our hope that the Zoning Board of Appeals acts quickly on the revised WEX ordinance so that this board can act on it soon. That completes my report.
Thank you, Bill. Finance Committee, Tim Schaefer, Chair.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. You have for your consideration tonight formally adopting a purchasing policy throughout the county. This is a topic that was brought up the last 3 Finance Committee meetings, and I think we talked about it here a little bit last time. And what this is an effort, and I think a relatively intelligent one, of bringing our practices more in conformance with what folks do probably, at least across the state and probably across the country, just formalizing things so we keep good records. We do okay now, we can do a little bit better, and this ensures that. So I motion for that approval, sir.
Motion by Schaefer, second by Vietti. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gimbel,
Yes.
Carly. Runyon,
Yes.
Mays. Holt,
Yes.
Weber. Beatty. Heath,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Coleman. Dyson,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Ritter. Flott,
Yes.
Bannon,
Yes.
Kestner, Peterson.
Thanks, folks. Just only other note, moving through the budget season, we have a meeting scheduled, the Finance Committee meeting, topic obviously the budget and levies, set up for next Wednesday night, 6 o'clock for those interested, and those even marginally interested. Show up, so thanks a bunch for your help.
Thank you, Tim. Sheriff General License Committee, John Yoder, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had our regular meeting last week of the Tuesday. Sheriff and jail personnel were present, and they gave jail and animal control reports, as well as some other reports. We discussed the budget and sent it on to the Finance Committee for discussion there, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Public Property Committee, Mike Ingles, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At our meeting last week, the committee did meet for the first time. Brad Gillette recently hired the new assistant facility service manager. Will be working with Chad. We too worked on our budget, and considerable number of capital requests, more than we might like to have, but in many cases it's due to aging buildings and repairs that probably a bit past due, and in some cases there's some fairly high risk of failure if we don't move forward on some of these things. We also reviewed the draft RFPs for the Regions Bank building, and we just recently received an appraisal, so based on attorney review, those RFPs will be going out for anybody that would be interested in purchasing, leasing, part, or all of that building, which currently sits mostly vacant. There's a couple county offices there. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Election Rules and Legislation Committee, Jack Vietti, Chair. Okay, thank you. Personnel Committee, Kelly Coleman, Vice Chair.
Linda Daniels, our Human Relations Specialist, will be presenting.
Good evening to everybody. The three things that we talked about at the Personnel Committee, there is a new OSHA rule that it was to take effect August 10th, where we could no longer do post-accident drug testing if there was a work injury. OSHA feels that employees may not report their injuries and incidents if they know that they have to be drug tested. And they are focusing a lot on getting everyone to report their injuries that happen at work. It has been delayed till November 1st. There are some businesses in Texas that are challenging OSHA as to whether or not they could legally do this. But going forward, if nothing changes on November 1st, we can no longer do drug testing after employee injuries, only if we have reasonable suspicion that drugs or alcohol were involved. They gave examples such as, you know, if you have a maintenance worker out there and gets stung by a bee, has a reaction, they probably don't think drugs or alcohol were involved in that. But if they would wreck a forklift and was driving erratically, you may have reasonable suspicion to think that they were using drugs or alcohol. So we will have to redo the policy, but I just held off a little bit to kind of see what happens with this lawsuit that's going on in Texas, to see if it really will change anything or not. John, did you have they said, like, if you have IDOT and that kind of thing, those rules have to stay in effect. But if I had an accident and was driving a county vehicle and you suspicion that I was driving erratically, then yes, we have to do that. But if I just backed into somebody and didn't seem like I was driving erratically, no, you could not drug test. So yeah, and everything that I'm reading about this is, you know, managers have to kind of make a split-second decision. Okay, did they act like they were on drugs or anything? And I really look at, we probably won't drug test unless there's just very strong suspicion that somebody's on drugs or alcohol. So anyway, that was just an advisory thing. Yes, John?
One more question.
Yes, we do. Not real often, but yes, we have random. Yeah, it's very random, yes. The next thing, during your strategic planning, it was voted on that we would do some leadership training for management. And so I have gotten, Heartland Community College has given me a bid, and I've also contacted Learning Alliance down from Clinton, Shirley Stillbrink, and she gave us a bid on some training that is kind of tailored to be about 4 hours a month. It would be for all the management staff. There is quite a few dollars involved with that, and so I am doing references and getting reference checks on what Shirley is bringing, and then we have had an employee that has attended the Heartland leadership training, so we kind of have a reference on that one already. So hopefully in September we'll be able to close that up. And then the committee also is asking me to research early retirement incentives. I'm got IMRF their data so that they can give us information on the IMRF early incentive, and then we're collecting some of the other counties that have done that, how they've done it, and we'll hopefully be able to present at the Personnel Committee in September.
Great.
Any questions?
Thank you, Linda.
That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Information and Technology Committee, Kelly Coleman, Vice Chair.
We heard from John Sear, our Network and Computer Systems Administrator. He was telling us about migrating servers, which is going on, installing and troubleshooting Windows 10, which was now completed. Lightning damage report from the July 24th storms was pretty impressive. And we did the budget and capital requests. And that's my report.
Thank you. Veterans Assistance Committee, Joe Station, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing new to report. I think Mr. Kestner has reported in my absence about the budget being forwarded to the Finance Committee, somewhere between a 2 and a 2.5% reduction.
Correct.
We have not heard anything back from the committee, and the agreement, intergovernmental agreement, is still undergoing some changes and review from the state's attorney's office. Other than that, that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Administrative Committee did not meet. Livingston County Housing Authority, report by Kelly Coleman. You're on a roll.
Not so much. We have not met since the last county board meeting. We will meet again next month, Wednesday, September 21st at 1 p.m. If you would like to attend, you're more than welcome. 903 West North Street here in Pontiac.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Recreation Committee, report by Joe Station.
Go ahead, Mr. Banner. I was not present for that meeting.
Oh, yeah.
The Recreation Committee did not meet.
Thank you. We're down to public comment.
Hello. Hello. John Slagle. So I just wanted to talk about the comment that was made about the ZBA hearings wrapping up quickly. Just to inform everybody what's going on if people don't know what's going on. As far as I understand it, I wasn't here at the Ag Zoning Committee this month. But basically the hearings were pretty much done with people testifying. And then at the last minute, Iberdrola decided they wanted to testify again. They'd already testified. But they're not going to be ready now for another month. So that's what's delaying everything. That's the way I understand it. So thank you.
Thanks, John.
I attended the information
Can you
technology.
state your name, please?
Robert Edwards.
Thank you.
I attended the information technology meeting last Tuesday and confirmed the receipt of a roles and responsibilities as well as a configuration management policy by John.
to explain why I answered you the way I did.
Okay, not a problem.
Bob, that email was the one that basically at the top.
And as they state in the memos issued in June, they will verify and validate appointments for Iowa City and Indianapolis, but they don't verify or validate any other appointments, whether it's at Decatur, Peoria, Hines, or Danville, Joliet, Kankakee, or LaSalle. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? Going once, going twice. I have a statement to make before we close up. Enbridge, September 7th, is going to be having a demonstration between 10 and 1. If you are going to go to that, let Alina know by noon on August 24th. With that, entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Kestner, second by Steichen. All those in favor? Aye. All right, thank you.